Hello, how are you?
Doing all right. Good to talk with you today. And we are looking forward to discussing The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Haidt. I think that's how it's
Could
Haidt.
be, I'm not sure what he said, height, I
I
think,
think,
but
yeah.
yeah,
Well, what an interesting book. I had
very.
the gambit of experiences reading this. You know, morality is an involved and deep topic that,
Yeah,
you know, I don't know. I just like I went from being, oh, that's ridiculous. Why is he saying that? And then I thought, okay, let me go a little farther and read a little bit more. And it was really
yeah.
very
Well,
interesting.
it's he is very thorough, and
Yeah,
it takes some perseverance to get through the parts where you think he's that doesn't agree with you.
right,
So
right.
it's very difficult,
Yeah,
difficult
yeah,
to get through them because you're thinking, well, if that's what he thinks, I can't agree. But in the course of the book, he changes, and
yeah,
he gets around to understanding that there's a need for understanding the other side.
right,
So I
right.
thought it was very, very good, very positive, and it's a book that everybody should read because
Yeah,
that's what he brings up is exactly what gets us mired into the us versus them, and I'm
yeah.
not bending and making no progress with anything.
Do you think that, this is pretty much his life's work? I mean,
Yes,
through master's and PhD and
yes.
many years studying and all over the world. Do you think that also maturity and just life experience had an effect?
Absolutely. And he mentions that, he talks about um, the genes that we're born with, kind of programming which direction we are going in a way. But then he says the plate is still clean until we start with our experiences. And that's what it's nothing new, really. It's what others are saying that are studying evolution and come to
Hmm.
the conclusion it's what you're born with, nativity, and then
Hmm.
your environment plus your life experiences and who you surround yourself with, that all plays a role. So it's
Right.
not, you're just like this because your parents are like that or because your
Yeah. It's
environment
not
is
that
like that.
simple. No.
Exactly. And then I think what's also very good, because he expands it not just USA, Europe, it's the entire world. He includes
Yeah.
the cultures and the differences in the cultures
Hmm.
and what's important to us. And he goes from Darwin, to Hume, to
Hmm.
Durkheim, to
Hmm.
um, to modern day politics and religion.
Yeah.
So everything plays a role, and there's no time that we're more exposed to all of this than nowadays with the internet and
Hmm.
technology. People
Okay.
in earlier days, they didn't know about each other.
Yeah.
They stay um, within their culture and have a set mind, a fixed mind on how things are going. you
Yep.
but nowadays you're bombarded with so much more that's going on in
Yes.
the
Yes.
world, and it's so important to keep an open mind and to not say, oh, that's, I reject that.
Yeah.
So
Because we come across all of it, you
we
know?
come across all of it, and especially, and I find it interesting, and I'll probably leave that for the rest. I don't want to bring that uh, right in front of the discussion, but
Yeah.
his conclusion in the end about diversity,
Mm,
it answered my questions. It
right.
answers what I've always been feeling, always been thinking, always been studying, and I wholeheartedly agree with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, well, here we go. Well, so we started this journey with looking at the list from Daniel Pink of the 21 books that changed his life, and so we started along this. So your job has been to see what Daniel Pink thinks of the book. So here's the slide about that.
Okay, so he says that he always thought that people make decisions about moral arguments by weighing both sides carefully, and he couldn't be further from the truth. So decisions are based not based on evidence; they're based on emotional decisions, and then we go about. Making arguments for it by finding arguments for it. So
Yeah,
it's ad hoc, after the fact justification on how we feel. So that's what he. So that's what we do. And he says a rational mind is not a neutral judge. Instead, it is an advocate for what our emotional mind instinctively believes. This book also tells us that there's not a single morality, but many. Most of us agree on the majority of them, but may not on others. So, like
right.
deferring to elders in some cultures, Daniel Pink believes that this book will be around with us for a long time. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so too. So,
I think so too. It's just such it's a deep and layered
yes,
and
and he spares no
the
animal.
topic. Yeah, yeah.
He is so thorough in his research. Sometimes you get lost in the book. I
Hmm.
did, So we're going down a path, and I'm going, oh no, 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 and then he comes right back around and says,
Yeah,
"Oh, but look at what I found."
yeah.
So
And yeah, he
that's
explains what the research has to do with his prior points and the
yes,
six main foundations.
yes.
So let's see.
And I just grabbed a few key points that he's making. Intuitions come first, strategic reasoning second. There is
Mm,
more to morality than harm and fairness, and morality binds and blinds. So these three key points
hmm.
go like a thread throughout the book. So
Right.
he comes back to those three all the time, and we can get into a little bit more details with it.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I make a comment about
yes.
the intuitions come first and strategic reasoning second?
Mhm.
There's another book that's not on our list. It's called Switch by the Heath brothers, and they talk about the rider and the elephant.
Yes.
And I love that metaphor because
Yes.
it's so true. We feel the emotion first, and then our mind says, "Oh, I feel this emotion. Why am I feeling this emotion?" Like when we come up against a moral argument or something like that, we feel first, and then the logic comes on
Yeah,
us.
and also the proportionality of that
Mm,
metaphor is because he says that the elephant is our intuitions, how we feel, what we initially about something, and then the little bitty right on top of the elephant is the press
yeah,
secretary that is there to support the elephant in its in its determination. Uh,
yeah, absolutely. That's so
decisions.
funny.
Yeah, that is really funny. So I thought
We,
so too, but that's so appropriate.
hmm, absolutely. Did you want to add anything else to your discussion
Yeah, let
points?
me see. I have them a little bit not in sequence, so I want to find where I put it in sequence. Um,
Okay.
so let's see. intuition comes first. So what he's saying, he says that human morality is not driven by logic, but by gut feelings. He uses the metaphor of the small rider. Conscious reasoning is the small rider sitting atop a giant elephant who goes by automatic and intuitive processes. But he says that the elephant rules most of our moral judgments, and they are quick, intuitive flashes. Then the rider is the lawyer.
Yeah.
The writer's job isn't to find the truth, but to act as a press secretary or lawyer for the elephant. And the implication of that is that you cannot change someone's mind by attacking their logic. So that is profound. So you cannot reason with someone who's already made a decision about how something is. You need to open your reasoning up to intuitions and speak to that. So I thought that was very, very, very appropriate. And then there is more to morality than harm and fairness, and that goes with his six moral foundations. He comes up with 6 moral foundations called care, harm, fairness, cheating, liberty, oppression, loyalty, betrayal, authority, subversion, and sanctity and degradation. So he uses those throughout the book to show us who's using it and who is not, or who's not using all of them.
Right. Yeah. And I like how the morality binds us together and also blinds us.
The last point, yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah. And that is so true. So, and he compares that to the chimp and the bees. So he says we're 90% like chimpanzees and 10% like the bees. And what he means with that is the chimp is self-interested and competitive within groups, but the bees are groupishness, and allows us to cooperate in massive tribes, but also makes us blind to the humanity of those outside our hives.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. That make it. I love the visualizations. I mean, that really helped me reading the book and understanding it.
Yeah. Okay, and I thought.
Okay.
I like this point by Dale Carnegie. He's Carnegie, because that's one of the outcomes or conclusions at the end of the book, is that we should not avoid direct confrontation. Instead, we should remain friendly, begin with a smile, listen to the other side, be good listeners, and never ever approach someone and say, "Oh, you're wrong and I'm right." A good persuader is to convey respect, warmth, and an openness to a dialogue before stating one's own case. So let the other side know that you are open to whatever they say. You're not want to shut them down from the get-go and convince them of your righteousness. So you want to be able to listen and maybe even change and compromise. So the secret to success lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from their angle as well as your own. So So I thought that was very good.
It's so interesting how the emotion comes first.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
You think that logically
and it often shuts down conversation because we work ourselves up as we can't get agreement to our point of view. So we get angry, we get mad, and in the end we just part ways and nothing's achieved.
Right. Yeah. You don't find common ground because there is no common ground if you are not even allowing yourself to understand what the other person's feeling.
Yes.
So that was something that
And I
was
like
important.
this too. Empathy is the antidote to righteousness.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That was, I'll be honest with you, that's something that made me mad.
And why?
Because I think, well, my background as a Christian, um, righteousness is a good thing, so I don't think it needs an antidote per se. I think that I think I would like to consider it as some other word. It's not coming to me other than antidote. I would say a companion to righteousness,
Okay.
because I feel like they're both necessary. I mean, they're part of each other, I think.
Yeah, but do you think though that you are more talking about, to me, there's positive righteousness and there's negative righteousness. You
Okay.
know, you can be righteous about something, um, like in so many instances, to me, negative righteousness, if you kill in the name of religion, you
Mm,
know, that to me is something I will never understand, how someone can use their religion to destroy someone else.
right.
Um, to me, that's negative righteousness, but there's positive righteousness,
Hmm.
um, that mankind, and I don't want to get political, but mankind, in order to live together in peace, we do need rules, you know, and
Hmm.
um, some rules need to be followed so we don't kill each other or don't subjugate, people to what somebody else feels is right.
Yeah.
We,
So
we
we
have,
go on.
so we belong, yeah,
Yeah.
and we can see the benefit to the group versus the benefit to the individual. So there's to me two different ways of righteousness, and there may
Hmm.
be many more, but I think maybe that's what he meant. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. It there um, and just there is, empathy, I think can be a noun, or it almost can be a verb too,
And it
the
can, yeah.
action. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
it's maybe too, when you do have a conversation with people that can't agree, if you, like he says, it's difficult to empathize across a moral divide. If
Yeah.
you can't see the other side, of course you're not empathizing at all with their
Yeah.
point of view. You just want them to come around to yours,
Right.
and that's
Right.
not how it goes.
No, no, it's not. Okay. So here, excuse me. Hmm. So you mentioned earlier the six main points, and I listed them here, but I'm not going to talk about
Yes,
all of
very
them.
good.
But what jumped out at me is care and harm, and maybe uh, a couple of these are what really spoke to me. I could identify with, but our ability to feel the pain of others, kindness, nurturing, gentleness. And what amazed me is that even infants feel this,
Yeah, yeah,
that they could tell by how the infant paid attention, was more curious about things, nurturing, kindness, and
yes.
gentleness, and how they wanted to observe that. And I thought that was a brilliant way of doing some research on
I thought
what
so
the
too.
infant was feeling.
Yeah, yeah,
And then the other foundations we have are fairness, cheating, loyalty, betrayal, authority, subversion, sanctity, and degradation. And I'm telling you what, that was hard for me to read. Some of
yeah,
those sanctity and degradation research projects
yeah,
where
yeah,
it was really tough for me to read. And so that must mean that, to me, that's a very important foundation in my own personal psyche. So
Yeah. Well, and it goes along with respect.
yeah, right.
Having respect for other people that don't think like you, and they have different ideas, and so that doesn't mean you degrade them. And you
Right.
can see that so often. Even kids who are bullies. Just because someone um, talks differently or looks differently.
Hmm.
So, what makes you think you should bully that person? Uh,
Yeah.
so it's so prevalent, and what I thought was so interesting, because he compares it in a political sense. He
Hmm.
compares um, or as mildly as I can put it, tight and loose societies. But
Hmm.
he compares liberals and conservatives. And what's what's interesting is that he says that both sides value care and harm.
Hmm.
Sides are high on fairness and cheating, but in a different sense.
Hmm.
Liberals think of fairness and cheating in terms of equality, whereas uh, conservatives mean proportionality with it.
Mm.
So that was interesting to me. Then both sides, loose and tight, or liberal and conservatives, on liberty and oppression, that they are high on that.
Yeah.
It's high priority. But then when it comes to loyalty and betrayal, loose and liberal, absolutely none, low.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that, whereas conservatives high. And it
Yeah.
goes for that for the rest of it. Authority, subversion, liberals low, conservatives high, and sanctity and degradation, same thing. So that was interesting to me.
The loyalty and betrayal in the discussion of groupishness,
Yes,
I thought was
yes,
was was pretty interesting, and I could. Uh, it made a lot of sense the way he
yes,
described the group deal and how loyalty to the group versus independence from the
yeah,
group. So
yeah,
I thought that was pretty interesting.
yeah, I thought so too. Very good.
All right, so another thing that jumped out at me was that it's very difficult to argue from an opposite point of
Mhm.
view. Most people cannot take the opposite side very easily in a discussion at all. And
And
then
we've
we also
all been
talked
there.
about,
Yeah, we're
yeah,
all
yeah,
been
absolutely, yeah.
there.
They feel first and then find examples that match their initial feeling, so they can
Yeah,
kind of, that confirmation bias, which bias was a good book that we read,
yes,
that
I thought
I
so
found a
too.
lot of confirmation there. And as an English teacher, and I really didn't understand that this might have been impossible for my students, but I used to have them try to write arguments from the opposing side and not to pick the fight.
Brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. I thought
So
that was wonderful.
but it was difficult for them because usually the emotion wasn't inside them, so
Did
they
they,
didn't have a passionate argument for the
and
other
did you
side.
find that they were circling back to their own point of
Yeah,
view without noticing it? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Usually it was because the other side's stupid,
Yeah.
and that was the end of all. That was their only reasoning. So,
Yeah.
um, uh, um,
And just think, within a family, you can do that
oh
on a
my God,
small scale. When you argue with your kids, when you know exactly what's best for them, and they just don't see it, because their friends, the group, their
yeah,
peers, they all do it. So why can't I do it?
yeah,
And that it doesn't lead to anything positive.
right, right, absolutely, yeah. That is. I just thought that that part of the discussion was really helpful to me as a
Yes, I
human.
thought it was excellent. Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Connection to other texts. Now I know I mentioned bias before.
Mhm.
Jennifer
I thought
Eberhardt
of that one too. Yeah.
helped explain how people experience unseen feelings that inform their snap judgments. So the
Mhm.
unseen feelings would be the elephant,
Yeah.
and then their judgments. They're
The
the
lawyer.
lawyer inside,
Yes.
trying to drive that little with their little stick. Trying to make that elephant go.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, pausing to think and slowing, and that's one thing that she recommended, and she did her training with the
Yes.
police departments was pause.
Pause.
Take a breath,
Yeah.
think a minute. Logical. What
Yeah.
would your logical brain think? And so
Yeah.
that was
And listen to the
something.
other side. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Very
And
good.
then you also mentioned Rule Makers and Rule Breakers
Yeah.
by Michelle Gelfand, and how similar research about loose and tight communities where morality was examined by different cultural frames.
Yeah.
And that that it's really cool how these are almost archetypal themes, and morality is interwoven between all these really interesting books.
Yeah. And with that, I want to come to what I mentioned earlier. And I wrote it down because that to me was the best explanation. What I always, when I read history, why do people not get along? Why do
Mm.
we have so many broken factions? And
Hmm.
is, let's see, the diversity that we're so embracing nowadays, or want to with all our might to work. It hasn't worked throughout history, and that has always been one of my interests. Why does it not work, and
Yeah.
why have we seen it in history so many times, as we increasingly becoming diverse, although we embrace it and we want to take all the positive things that we can extract from diversity, we cannot deal with what's different. We
Yeah.
are incapable of developing, or we overdevelop tolerance for the detriment of ourselves. We don't tolerate at all. We can't
Yeah.
find a means to tolerate that, and that is Putnam did a survey and found that there are two kinds of social capital. Bridging capital refers to trust between groups, between people who have different values and identities, while bonding capital refers to trust within groups. Diversity reduces both kinds of
Mhm.
social capital because it triggers not in group or out group division, but enemy or social isolation. People in
Mm.
ethnically diverse settings appear to hunker down, that is, pull in like a turtle. Diversity makes people turn inward and become more selfish, less interested in contributing to their communities. And
Mm.
that is exactly what I always felt.
Yeah. Yeah. You think it makes people more defensive, and so they come, like you were saying, within themselves.
Yeah, they will retreat, and they fence themselves off from what's
Yeah.
all around them.
Yeah. And you go back to what you have always known,
Yes,
and go back to the elephant. The
yeah,
elephant wants
exactly. Yeah,
to go where it goes.
yeah.
Very interesting.
So that is something I think we need. That's a problem we need to solve in today's
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So, in how, I don't have a clue. Um,
You don't even. Yeah. If we are trying to get along in more diverse societies, we
mhm,
need to do things that do not cause other people to turn inward and get defensive.
exactly, to work and to think as
Yeah.
us as a whole. How can we survive on this planet together?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Well, what a wonderful way to end this conversation. Yeah,
Yes.
getting along better.
Yes.
So that was The Righteous Mind, and I will include our show notes and the PowerPoint, the slide deck in our notes here. Next week, we're going to take 2 weeks.
We're going to take 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 2 weeks, we will be reading Non-Zero by Robert Wright. It's a history and evolution kind of discussion. So neither of us have read that before, so that should be pretty interesting. And so that would be 18th?
Let's see.
18th, I think, somewhere around there.
31st, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Venus. I have really enjoyed this discussion.
Yes, same here.
Yeah.
Very good book. Very
Loved it.
nice.
Yes. Right. And thank you, Daniel Pink, for publishing this list because it gave us a topic and a huge goal of a book every week or every 2 weeks. And this has been really awesome. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And thank you, viewers. And please share. And we're glad to have you with us. And Dr. Venus, I will see you in a couple weeks.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Bye-bye.